Good evening, everyone. Severe Other T9 meteorologist Nathan Chudd joining you for this edition of Date at 8. And some of the highlights that we're going to be talking about coming up on this edition is cooler, but a lot less windy conditions for your Thursday. And while temperatures initially cool Thursday, they're going to be picking back up Friday, not only dealing with some mild temperatures again Friday, but some breezy winds, although likely not to the extent of today, with those wind gusts likely back in excess of 25, maybe up to 30 miles per hour Friday going into the afternoon and evening. And that will be met with some rain and likely more rain with respect to the showers we had present for this evening. And that will be with a series of cold front passages. So we'll notice a cold front passage Friday. And then by the end of this weekend, Sunday's our second cold front passage that delivers a cool down going into next week. The coldest air of the season is likely going to be upon us. So our current temperatures now are falling from the 60s into the 50s. Again, with a cold front passage, notice those cooler temperatures residing just towards our north, even in the 40s, Youngstown, Akron. That's not only our future in the 40s, but likely back in the 30s by tomorrow morning. So temperatures really dropping off from the 60s into the 30s. We've been dealing with some gusty winds present for today. In fact, now even dealing with a higher wind gust than what we had earlier in this afternoon at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. That wind gust just coming in the past hour at 45. So we actually need to update our list here. Earlier into the afternoon, the highest wind gust coming in at 40 at the Ohio County Airport, now up to 45 at the latest hour. Cameron coming in at 38, Wintersville 36, Carrollton 32, 31, New Cumberland, as well as New Philadelphia. Just some gusty winds in general. And we noticed some higher wind gusts even within some of these showers moving through the area. Reports of some small hail moving through the Weirton area. So even some small hail, gusty winds within those showers as they move through the region. These are now tapering off, though, as we look into the overnight hours. Not only are we dry, likely now going overnight, we'll also see those winds diminish into tomorrow morning. Those winds are going to be much lighter for Thursday morning and in general lighter throughout the day. Winds sustain about 5 to 10 miles per hour. There's our breezy winds then likely returning for your Friday. Notice into the afternoon. Winds will pick back up. Again, likely not quite as windy as today, but at least upwards of 30 mile per hour wind gusts is possible into Friday afternoon. So lighter winds Thursday, dry conditions Thursday, more sunshine Thursday, really spelling for a pleasant Thursday across the Ohio Valley. So there's a look at radar. Those gusty showers again now moving it southeast of the area, even towards Morgantown, and we're likely going to be drying up now as we extend to the overnight hours. There's one more lingering shower there near Youngstown. Could clip a very small portion of Columbiana County, but for the most part, again, we are done with our showers now. Just going to be watching those winds diminishing and skies clearing as we go overnight. We did have some local storm reports getting to those gusty winds that we had within those showers, where those wind gusts were a bit more excessive than they were even earlier into the afternoon. Our one local report coming in so far of in terms of wind and wind damage is tree and wires down on Wetzel Tyler Ridge Road. That was in Paden City. So that's our one report coming in so far. Could have some additional. Again, we did have some pretty gusty winds within some of these showers as they move through the area. And again, a report, while not listed here, also of small hail in the Weirton area, as we did see that shower pass through, dealing with a line of some showers passing through the area earlier into this evening. So reports of some pretty gusty winds, dealing with some hail as well as those showers progress southeast through the area. And again, are now starting to make their exit for the night. So we're going to be tracking some quiet conditions developing going into tomorrow. And by tomorrow morning, as we're waking up, again, the main story, not the winds, not any precipitation, just cold. It's cold, frosty start to your Thursday. We'll deal likely with some areas of frost with lows around the mid 30s. And after that cold start to your Thursday, high temperatures topping off in the 50s, a cooler end. Highs only make it mid lower 50s, not mid lower 60s like what we had for today. So noticeable cool down for your Thursday, but a good amount of sunshine. And again, overall, going to be a pleasant day. Won't have to worry about those windy conditions like what we had for your Thursday. There's those clouds spilling back into the area on Friday. Like we mentioned, those winds are picking back up in the afternoon. And at the same point, we'll notice some rain breaking out for Friday afternoon. And this rain is occasional as we go into Friday night. Doesn't fare well, unfortunately, for our high school football games. It's after the games wrap up that we'll notice then those showers likely taper off into Saturday morning. So we're drying up later on Friday night. By Saturday morning, we are likely dry. And while it is likely a dry start to the weekend, that following round of some precipitation looks to arrive Sunday. So Friday and Sunday overall are going to be pretty wet days. Upwards of about a quarter to a half of an inch of rain on Friday into Saturday morning or early Saturday morning. Get to deal with some pockets of some higher precipitation, dealing with the potential for some thunderstorms embedded within that rain. So we could deal with some pockets of rainfall amounts exceeding a half inch, maybe up to an inch. But for the grand scale, likely more on the order of a quarter to a half of an inch from that rain. Again, developing Friday afternoon, continuing into Friday night, but then tapering off by Saturday morning. Rainfall amounts look to be on the lighter side as well, with that following round of some showers on Sunday. Does look occasional, and that's not just the afternoon, that's the morning as well as the afternoon Sunday. So most of the daytime Sunday will be met with some occasional showers. It's going to be a chilly rain as well. Those highs in the 40s. And it looks like a situation Sunday where a high temperature comes in the morning. So those highs, mid upper 40s, is likely more Sunday morning, and we'll drop through the 40s then in the afternoon. So again, that's a chilly rain on Sunday. Less than ideal conditions to be outdoors, that's for sure. Friday morning, likely dry, but again, by Friday afternoon in the evening, that rain breaks out and just does not look to let up in time for our high school football games. So just be prepared if you're heading out to any football games for Friday night. Take the rain gear, as they're going to be dealing with a lot of rain falling into Friday night, and again, going to be pretty wet as we go throughout the day Sunday as well. Showers do linger Sunday night into Monday. They likely become more scattered, more periodic. It's not going to be a persistent, but we likely do see some showers continue Sunday night into Monday. And what does linger will transition from rain to snow, as low temperatures look to even drop below freezing into Monday morning, and even towards the mid 20s by Tuesday morning. So 2 mornings in a row with lows likely into the 20s, highs in the 30s. Monday, Tuesday, the coldest air of the season arrives early next week. And yes, we can have some snow showers around throughout the day on Monday. So just be prepared for more of a wintry preview coming our way by the end of this weekend and into early next week. And again, already going to be quite chilly even throughout the day Sunday, as those temperatures are falling through the 40s. So already quite chilly Sunday and just cold Monday into Tuesday. But temperatures by Wednesday into Thursday will rebound, likely back in the 50s, and then climbing a little further into the 50s going into the following weekend. So the cold doesn't last too long. It's a quick shot, but again, some pretty cold air for this time of the year, arriving early next week for a couple of days before temperatures will climb back up. Joe, good evening. Hope you had a nice day. An okay day, Joe. Hopefully you did as well. Austin, good evening. Today was crazy windy that I could hear it howling while watching lots of birds flying in flocks. They're saying, get out before the cold Monday into Tuesday. As it was getting dark, it felt like the clouds could dump some rain. And yes, it definitely, Austin, it looked like rain again going into this evening. We did deal with a little dry air. Again, not as much, though, as yesterday. So we did see rain be able to make it through that layer of dry air. It wasn't as much drier as what we had for yesterday, but it did play some role, especially earlier into the evening before we did see some pockets of that more moderate rain finally break through that layer of dry air. It did play a factor in some of that rain. We certainly would have dealt with a lot more rain if it wasn't for still some dry air residing over us. So it did come into play. And again, just like yesterday evening, it looked like it could rain, right? But not all of us getting that round of rain present for this evening. And now likely drying back up into tomorrow morning with the decrease in cloud cover and those breezy winds diminishing. So still dealing with some pretty gusty winds here early on tonight, but diminishing overnight, much lighter wind in place for your Thursday. A breeze Friday, likely another breeze Sunday into Monday, which we're definitely going to be highlighting wind chills at that point, because as temperatures fall in the 20s and we maintain at least a bit of a breeze, watch, because we're near, if not in the teens, for a wind chill Monday, Tuesday morning. Yeah, it's going to feel even colder, even colder than the 20s. Definitely going to feel much more like the upcoming season, a bit of a taste of winter, really, early next week, especially, again, considering the fact those wind chills near, if not into the teens, and that's just not one, but 2 mornings. We're likely there Tuesday morning, but I think there's a chance for Monday morning as well. We get a couple mornings where those wind chills and how cold it feels can even be in the teens early next week. So it's a wintry preview, taste of the upcoming season arriving into Monday morning and just continuing as we go through Tuesday. So yeah, Austin, the birds are getting out. They say we don't want any part of that. They're getting out before that cold arrives into early next week. Certainly going to be a bit of a shock to the system. Anytime we're dealing with that cool down, of course, the first snowflakes of the season, always be a little bit of shock to the system, but just how cold it's going to feel for us, especially in those mornings early next week. And it takes some time getting adjusted. Some of you may say, well, never can it get adjusted to that cold. I understand that as well, but certainly not accustomed to it with the first cold shot of the year. Even these 40s feeling chilly to us, but a lot colder than that even early on into next week. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Again, at this point, things are starting to quiet down into tomorrow morning. From there, we're going to notice that as we go through the day tomorrow, it's a quiet day. Getting a good amount of sunshine, much lighter winds, cooler temperatures. By Friday, the weather turns more active again. Again, those winds don't look as high as they were for today, but in general, still going to deal with a breeze for your Friday. It turns cloudy on us. Again, that rain breaking out in the afternoon and then just continuing occasionally, if not just persistent, right? Just not letting up at all, going through the evening and into Friday night before it does by Saturday morning. The following round then of some occasional rain develops Sunday, even by the morning, continues throughout the entirety of your Sunday before we notice a transition from these showers become likely more scattered in nature. We get that transition from rain to snow, then Sunday night into Monday, and we'll deal with some taste of winter into early next week. Already quite chilly Sunday, but it's going to be a series of cold days Monday into Tuesday. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can catch me coming up News 9 at 10 on Fox 9, News 9 tonight at 11 for the latest, and as always, for that next edition of Nate at 8 as we further break down that rain coming our way on Fridays. So make sure to stay tuned for the latest of that tomorrow evening for that next edition of Nate at 8. Until then, have a great night. I'll see all of you on the next edition of Nate at 8.